I think it's simple. I think when the pressures come, we have to rely on family. And to rely on family, it means not just your husband or your wife. It means your mom, it means your kids. It means we're all in this together. And I think business is all the same. As long as your family is strong and you can bring that to work, life is good. We're going to talk about that in a very unique way. Let's dive into family pressures next. Tracey Ruffin and Ashley Powell. The heat is on. Let's get cooking. This is Purpose Under Pressure, sharing stories of why we're here and how we fight to make it happen. We are wrapping up our third season with this episode. I'm really proud to say and excited to say that the next season is already in production. So we will be back. And if you do like this show, please give us a follow or a like or a subscription or some way to tell folks that this show is worth listening to. It's how we're going to spread the word, it's how we're going to make a difference. And I do appreciate it if you'll follow and like the show. So Purpose Under Pressure is brought to you in partnership with Sandler by the Ruby Group, serving sales professionals nationwide from their Akron and Columbus, Ohio, and Jacksonville, Florida locations. You know, selling is an art, and it's at the heart of everything that you do in business. And so you might as well do it on purpose, right? And Sandler by the Ruby Group helps you do that. You can check them out online at therubygroup.sandler.com. Ashley Powell is the first ever duplicate dual guest on Purpose Under Pressure. And I'm excited that she is going to be on our show today. We've never had someone as a guest twice on the Purpose Under Pressure show. The cool thing about today, though, is Ashley is joined by her mom, Tracey Ruffin. And I'm excited to have both of you on the show. And folks out there, you're in for a treat, especially when it comes to learning about purpose and pressure. Tracey Ruffin, Ashley Powell, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us. We're glad to be here.
Yeah, I'm really glad you're here too. We've been working hard to get this on the books. This is something I've wanted to do for a long time. I think Ashley, ever since I met you, and I think Tracey, when I introduced you to myself to you a long time ago, I just had this feeling that this was meant to be and should happen. And I'm glad that it is. So Ashley, real quick, you are the HR retention manager at Sandridge Foods, and Tracey, you're doing work with Sister Circle Medina. You are also part of, and I've got it here on my notes, the Howden Quality and Safety Coordinator. You're the Quality and Safety Coordinator with Howden.
Yes.
You're also the assistant pastor at your church. Ashley, you are the youth pastor at your church. Tracey, your husband, is the senior pastor at your church. You are a family. You are trying to make things happen. And that's what today is all about. Did I miss anything, ladies?
Probably, but
you covered it for the most part.
That's it.
So let's dive in. What's the purpose? What are we trying to accomplish here in life? You guys wake up out of different beds, but you swing your feet out of bed and go to work and get things done. You got a lot on your plates. Why do we do what we do? What's your purpose?
So I would say for me, my purpose directly connects with my faith. I believe that I'm placed here for a reason, that Jesus set that on course way before I was even born. And that has shown through a lot of aspects of my life. Haven't always been on a path that was conducive with my faith necessarily. I made some choices that I'm not necessarily proud of, but I feel like that was all necessary to get to where I'm at. And so faith is the primary reason for my personal purpose. My children and my family would be what carries that through for me, and my community. I feel like because of the things that I've been through in my life, because of how many blessings that I've been given, that I want to in turn give that back to my community and make it a better place. And I believe that's truly my purpose.
Tracey, how about you? I anticipate what your answer is going to be.
So I kind of course, have the same type of values as Ashley does. But I think faith, family, and friends would tie it all up into one pretty bow. But get up every morning with this passion and drive to want to be the best me, so that I'm able to be the best me for my family, at my place of employment, try to be the best friend that I can be when sometimes life interrupts all of that. But for the most part, just getting up, Brian, and starting my day brand new every day with a clean slate to be able to go out and just be the best person I can be. Passion drives me. Relationships drive me, and my faith drives me. So I find the same thing as Ashley. Like, that's my purpose in life.
So sometimes purpose is such a focused word. What is my purpose? And yet, and you're not alone, we end up coming up with 5 or 6 different answers. Like,
Right.
Tracy, if I had to ask you, what is your single purpose? Like, if, as you look at Ashley, and Ashley talks about her kids, what's your specific, when you wake up in the morning, what's the one thing you got to get right?
Wow. So my kids, of course, are all adults, right? So my grandkids, um, getting it right with and for them is very important to me. But the main thing when I get up out the bed every day, also, Brian, and I'm sure we could talk about this later, but caregive for my mother, who has been diagnosed with dementia. So on top of that, my purpose when I get up every morning and when my feet literally hit the ground, it's a constant run from there, as it comes to giving the best care that I'm able to provide in this moment for my mother, being the best grandma that I can be to my grandkids, and doing the best I can, all while doing all those things for my employer as well.
Yeah. And I think sometimes, we spend more than 2/3 of our time in life with our family, within our home, with what really matters. And then the other third, maybe we spend it at work. And man, that seems to take a toll, doesn't it? That 1/3, we give so much to it, and we forget what's really important, which makes everything suffer. Ashley, let's talk a little bit about the pressure. And you and I have talked before. I know there is some. I know you're trying you're a young professional trying to live life. You're trying to raise a family. You're trying to generate a career. You're doing all the things that I said, hey, you can't do. You got to have one purpose only. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's bull, right? What's the pressure that gets in the way?
Honestly, when I stop and self-reflect, I think the pressure comes from myself. I have a lot of expectations for myself based on societal pressure of where I should be. And I believe the last time I was a guest on your show, I was sharing that with the young professionals around me. The pressure that comes from, no offense, mom, but being a good daughter, what that means and what your parents' hope and dreams are for you. The pressure of being the perfect mom, because, for example, today's my kid's birthday. And I'm having like mom guilt because I just accepted a meeting for the end of my day. And I store-bought cupcakes instead of making them homemade to take to school. And so, social media is great until it's not, for comparison's sake, because I know moms who literally go out their way to decorate celery to make them look like people. And I'm just, Giant Eagle had some really cute cupcakes on sale for Thanksgiving this week, and that's where I got it. And so I think really the pressure comes from myself to live up to expectations set before me by everyone else.
Yeah. Is that the actual pressure that the other folks set the expectations, or is the pressure that you're trying to set your own?
I believe the pressure is that I try to set my own because I want to be great. I want to be great in every area. I want to be great for my employer. Today I have my year-end review. Nervous about that. I want to be great for my kids. I want to be great for my mom. I want to be great, just in general as a productive member of society. And it's a lot of pressure. And that doesn't always have to be negative. I think that's a great motivating pressure until it's overwhelming, and knowing what those boundaries are, and knowing when to raise the heat on pressure versus where to take a step back and not blow a gasket in the process.
Tracey, it's interesting to see the different generational pull on this. Is it similar, do you think, for you? You've obviously seen, perhaps lived through the same things that Ashley has and is. Is it similar for you, or are there other different pressures that come about in your day?
I think so. I think it's both. So I think sometimes I can find the same pressures. And just for the record, Ashley, I'm so proud of you. Like, all the things that you do, all of the things that you do and juggle, and it's a lot. And so Brian will only hit the surface of it, and I see the the depthness, the deepness of it. So anyways, I just wanted to throw that out there. But
What's the depthness? Nope. What's the depthness? Give me something deep. Let me know what you're talking about.
So I watch her literally. She has health issues that she literally pushes herself through, literally. You seeing her, you would never know the battles that she faces. But yet she gets up every morning and every day. She so happens to be my next door neighbor. So I see her every morning. And oftentimes me as her mother, I even wonder, like, how is she even moving when I know what's going on internally and all around her? She does it so well, Brian. She's a single mother. She's raising a senior who's about to go off to college and raising a young man who just turned 5 today. So I watch her, and I'm sorry, I probably get a little emotional because I watch her move through this thing called life. Being a single mother and raising two young boys, where statistically they should be somewhere else doing something else. Ashley should be too, if we would let the world define it or define her. But here she's a homeowner. She works a full-time job. She is a great parent to her boys. She is involved in her community in every aspect, in every area, and yet here she is still standing. So that's the deepness of what people really can't see, of what goes on in life, and that in itself can be a pressure because,
And so in your world, then, Tracey, and thank you for sharing that. In your world, are there times when the pressures that you face, you're learning from Ashley as the example that you just gave? Are there things that you've been able to say, here's what Ashley would do? Is she inspiring you too?
Oh man, she is my biggest inspiration. I'm sorry, Brian. This is probably going to turn into a blubbery mess.
Here we go. I'll start crying pretty soon.
But
that's okay.
She inspires me probably more than she even knows. I can give you a perfect example.
Yes.
This weekend this whole past week has been really rough for me. I talk about pressure, when I think about pressure, I literally think about a pressure cooker, and when you remove the lid, what's going on inside while the lid's there. And then when you remove it, the release. But I've been under a lot of pressure, caring for my mother, having to make hard decisions that are coming up. And I said to Ashley, as I was going to an event for church, a women's event that I was over, I said, I'm just going to put on my mask today. I don't wear masks very well. And so I did. I got up and I went through the day. But at some point, it cracked, the mask. And Ashley said to me, she said, Mom, the mask cracked and then it shattered and you were exposed. And so when I think about that, the inspiration that my daughter, the wisdom that she speaks to me, and the encouragement that she gives me by just smiling makes all the difference to me. So yes, I glean a lot from my daughter. I'm very much inspired by her, and I'm grateful that God gave me her.
And I think in the world of business, we all have families. We have our own families that live under the roof with us, that we've raised and grown up with. And we have our work families. We have our teammates. We have our customers that we're all in it together for. Tracey, can you give me an example? You're involved in the church. You're involved at Howden. Can you give me an example when that mask, shattered or not, impacts the way you do work, where the family that you've kind of been a part of and grown up with, and the inspirations that you have are actually helping you to overcome the pressures that the job or the organization or the church brings?
So as I've stated, Brian, the mask I don't wear very well. If someone asks me how I'm doing, I always tell them you better be ready to listen. Because I don't.
So that's not a crutch. It's a necessary evil sometimes, but you okay, good. Okay, gotcha. Mm-hmm.
Yes, it really is. I like to consider myself being genuine and authentic. So when it comes to my family, or even my work family, I think trying to juggle all of those things, my husband, my home, my children, my grandchildren, Howden, all of the community events. I'd like to think that I'm the same person and give the same passion to all of those places,
Yeah.
because that's important to me. It's something that drives me, and I want it to be authentic, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. And with all the things going on, and Ashley, I'm probably going to ask you something similar, but Tracey, with all the things going on, when work has to take second place, how do you deal with that? That's pressure too. When you have to be 2 or 3 places at once, and yet you're going to go to your family no matter what. How do you make things right? How do you overcome that pressure and still win on the other side for everybody? Win-win for everybody. Employees, employers, the whole thing.
So I'm really blessed, Brian, to work for a company that really does put family first.
Okay.
And when they don't just say it, there's some companies that tell you that. Mm-hmm. My company is truly one of those companies. I have the privilege to work from home, which happens to benefit me because I caregive for my mother. So I also have a very great, I call him my boss, but he doesn't like me to call him my boss. But he's my supervisor, and he allows me the opportunity, Tracey, take care of what you need to take care of as long as you get your work done. Yeah. And so when it's that type of relationship, I'm able to make sure that I genuinely give Howden the time that they pay me for. But at the same time, I'm able to take care of community events. I'm able to have an hour and a half lunch for today to be your guest on this podcast. I'm able to do several things, take care of the church and the events, and assist my husband as needed, and be there for my grandchildren for a birthday party that's going to happen after Ashley gets off work today, and all of those things. So I'm really grateful, Brian, for just to be in the space and the community that I'm in.
And how about you, Ashley? I know that your family takes first seat, but you don't have the opportunity all the time to kind of call your shots when it comes to career. You're a young professional trying to make things happen. You have to on purpose choose your path. How does that pressure of family getting in the way? How do you overcome that?
It's really tough because the people who are in positions that I desire or look up to or report to are in positions in their lives where their children are older. They're not in the house, and they don't have the same kind of home responsibilities or obligations. And so it's intimidating to be able to request those things because they don't mind working until midnight and picking up the phone at 2 a.m. And I have to draw hard boundaries. But I will say that I am also very blessed. Sandridge is a family business because it's owned by people who are local to this community, who are third generation now. But it's more than that. They truly believe that. And so I have been afforded a lot of opportunities to take care of my priorities and encouraged to do so. I feel very fortunate in that regard, but I never want to take advantage of those things either. And so my self-propelled work ethic, if I left an hour early today or took an hour and a half lunch, I'm going to work at home. I'm going to come into the office early next time. I'm going to, if I couldn't touch base with that third shift manager because I live 8 minutes down the road with the light screen, 10 if it's red, I'll come back at 10 p.m. to meet with those people face to face because relationships are important to me. And in my role being in HR, being present is important. And so I think it's a little bit of, communicating and being vulnerable with my management team, with also putting forth that effort so that they know by giving me flexibility or by supporting me with my home life, acknowledging, because at the end of the day, it's a business. Let's not forget that. They can acknowledge that I'm a single mom, but they hired me to do a job. And so I'm grateful for that compassion, but I always want to put forth my best effort so that it's reflected and I can continue having those opportunities.
Sandler rule, only decision makers can get other people to make decisions. Each and every day, we have a decision to make. Also, when we're with buyers in our sales process, we have a decision to make how we're going to lead that interaction. And if I'm somebody that can make daily commitments and keep those daily commitments, then when I'm with buyers, I expect them to make commitments and keep those commitments to me throughout that sales process. So first and foremost, I have to have a decided heart in order to lead other people to make the decisions that I'm expecting them to make.
And Ashley, what's the future look like? Because you can write your own ticket. You're moving forward. You're raising your kids. You're doing all these amazing things. If you could look back, let's say maybe you're Tracey's age, and you're looking back and you're seeing what you've done. What did you do? What does the future look like for you? What are the hurdles and obstacles you're going to have to overcome to make it happen?
So I want to say that if I'm half the woman that my mom is at her age, that I would be better than I can even imagine. She is amazing, and she is very generous in sharing her perspective of my life, but I'm only who I am because of her. Yes, she's been married to my stepdad for almost 20 years now, but before that, we called ourselves the Three Amigos, me, her, and my brother. She worked 3 jobs. She'd work in an insurance company, and then she would clean, and then she would go and close out McDonald's just to make sure we had what we needed and wanted. So that's where my work ethic comes from. And if I'm 50 some years old and I'm looking back over my career, I hope that I can leave a legacy that would say, I made a difference in the lives of employees who are considered, second chance employees, or, not necessarily in the executive roles, that from the janitor to the CEO, that somehow that I impacted this organization. I would hope that I could, tell my story in a formal way, whether that's a book or a podcast or something like that, that would help inspire someone who had to face obstacles like, poverty or domestic violence or single parenthood, and that they would look back and be inspired by my journey, whether that's, written or visual. And then finally, I would hope that I could continue helping people in a more direct path. What I do for Sandridge is important to me, and I would love to be able to do that without boundaries of 8 to 5 or 4 walls. So
yeah. You know what I love about that, and I won't say it. Well, maybe I will. I mean, you seem that it matters more how you do it than it matters what you do. Is that accurate?
I would say so. So my degree is in healthcare. I've worked for the health department. I've been an SCNA. I worked for Ravago at a plastic distribution center. I've worked in a dentist office. So to find myself in food manufacturing is bizarre to me. And in all those roles that I've had, it's all about helping people. I can't say that I've been perfect. That would be a lie. But I can say that I've tried, and that I've grown, and that I've learned through those experiences. And so where I'm at now, it is the how. Am I doing it excellently? Am I using my strengths? Because we could talk about weaknesses all day, but that's not going to make anybody any money. So it's really honing in on the things that I can contribute. And then, like I said, because my purpose is driven by my faith in Jesus, I work unto him and not unto man. And so anything that I do for him, it's for put my best foot forward.
Tracey, what are you most proud of in your life?
So besides my amazing children and my grandchildren, because they definitely at the top, is I went on an international missionary trip this year. And this was the first missionary trip that I've ever been on. You couldn't have told me a year ago that I was a missionary. I don't mind contributing, donating, helping, praying, all of that. But to actually be the hands and feet of Jesus in another country was never on my radar. So this year, Brian, I honestly have to say, going to serve the people in Ghana, Africa, is one of the top moments that I am definitely proud of for this year. And I'm looking forward to doing it again.
Do it again. So as we wrap up, ladies, this is a business podcast. It's meant for business owners and organization leaders. And I know the answer to this, but I wonder what you think. What does any of what we just talked about, and it's a lot, have to do with business? Again, I know the answer. I want to know what you guys think. What does this have to do with business? Your experience, your passion, your purpose, what you've learned, what you do.
Yeah,
Tell me what a business owner needs to know.
absolutely. So this is the one thing I love about being in human resources. And here at Sandridge, we're moving away from that title into people operations, because people are complicated. Like if business owners are going to utilize robots, then we don't need to be having this conversation. But while there's robotics and advancements in technology, there's always a human behind that. And so because of the complexity of working with individuals, it's important that you understand that people have a story. And it's not always a straight answer when you're dealing with something, because people are bringing different experiences, and you don't know what they're facing when they leave your door. You don't know what they encountered before they walked in. And so I think it's important to realize that purpose and pressure, and faith and family all contributes to what they can provide to your company. I think that it's important to realize that even the things that don't fit in the mold can be fostered and utilized to make you money. And so I would encourage any business owner or organization to really take a step back and have a real conversation with their employees, with their team members, their suppliers, their internal or external customers, because people will tell you everything you need to know. And if you listen more than you talk, then you're going to be able to find that niche and to foster it in a way that's going to be beneficial for you and for your company, and ultimately do what we get up to do every day, which is make money, because that's really what it's about. I mean, I know that passion's important, but I think that we would be naive to think that we could survive in this world and do our passions and fulfill our purpose if we didn't have those means.
That's it. And Tracey, overcoming all the things that you've overcome as a mom and as a worker and all the things in life that we've talked about already. What's your advice for a business owner or a organization leader who are also just trying to make things work as a family should? What would your advice be to them when they're struggling with the pressures?
So I just think that it's really good Ashley kind of summed it up, but when the employer or the business can take just a moment to listen to the people. I know at the end of the day, it's the bottom line,
Yep.
but really when you come together as a work team or a work group, just the experiences and getting to know someone on a different level than the good morning and the flyby meetings is very important, because for me, I so enjoy my work family. And that makes a difference to me. I don't have a problem getting up, having conversations, and going the days that I have to go into the office. It all ties in, right? So I just think that having the opportunity for everyone to come together and understand that purpose, passion, and pressure, we all can survive it.
Yeah. Isn't it amazing? And that's kind of where I was heading with that, is that what we do in our family is absolutely what needs to be done in any organization, in any business. We need to be honest with each other. We need to be ethical. We need to be truthful. We need to come together when there's problems. We need to help each other out. We need to give where we can and take where we need. And if we can do that in such a way that benefits everybody, then we're going to come out ahead no matter what gets in the way. As a father of three, and that's kind of what I've seen is like, I told the kids once, guys, if each one of us goes after our own thing, then we're all pulling for ourselves. If we each try to help the other get everything they want, then you've got 4 people pulling for you at all times. You've always got a team pushing you ahead. And I think it works in family, and I think it works in business too. I think you take care of other people so that they can take care of you.
Absolutely.
And I think that's where we ended up, and that's where we got. And Ashley, your smile is infectious, and the world will never know all the things that you are going through and always will go through. But I'll tell you this, listeners out there see themselves in you. They're going through their own stuff too. It's not just you. And I hope that they will see you, and I hope that, Tracey, they'll see all the great that you have done and are doing as a family leader, as an organization leader, as a mom. And see that there's hope and that they can get through those pressures, not just to get through them, but to be successful and happy and have some fruit on the other side. So I thank you for being vulnerable, both of you, and for sharing. I'm interested if someone wanted to reach out to you for any reason. I don't want to give personal unless you want to do that, but you're both people worth knowing. And if I wanted to reach out to you, how would my listeners do that?
Absolutely. So I could be reached at my email address. It is ashley.powell@sandridge.com. You can also follow me on social media, Ashley Powell, on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. I'll let my mom talk about our Sister Circle page as well.
Good.
Yes. So we can both be reached at our website for Sister Circle, it's sistercirclemedina.com. Again, it's sistercirclemedina.com. And I can personally be reached at my email. It's Tracey, spelled Tracey .l.ruffin, RUFFIN, @gmail.com. Tracey.l.ruffin.
Excellent. Folks, when I met each one of them, when I saw them across the room, I made a beeline to each one of them and said, hello, I need to meet you, because there's just something about them that radiates, I got this. And we all need that sometimes in our life. So, Ashley, you're like, I don't know. Yeah, trust me. We all feel that way, but you guys do. Thank you very much for sharing your story. And I hope that others feel motivated to follow in your footsteps. So thank you for being our guest on Purpose Under Pressure.
Thank you so much.
Man, I'm glad they were here. I think sometimes we get caught up in CEOs and business and dollars and profit lines, and I think we forget about family. And that's really what I wanted to accomplish in this show as we end up season 3 of Purpose Under Pressure, that it's what happens at home that matters first. That makes us better at work, and that makes us able to be better at home, folks. It's a cycle. So help each other get on it, okay? Thank you very much for being our guest on Purpose Under Pressure. It is brought to you in partnership with Sandler by the Ruby Group. I'm so happy to say that they will be our partners for next year as well. Thrilled to say that for no other reason than I just really value their partnership. I love what they stand for, love what they mean to this show, and I'm excited to bring you more from them next year. Sellers are under pressure to perform, so give them a call. Sandler helps you succeed on purpose. You will find all past episodes of Purpose Under Pressure at brianmediastrategies.com/podcast and wherever you stream your favorite shows. We do this every week. We do this each year. Season 4 is coming next. We'll see you then on Purpose.